You've lost control of large areas of Syria. The jihadist group that calls itself Islamic State has emerged. There are perhaps 200,000 Syrians dead. Millions have lost their homes. The UN envoy, Staffan de Mistura, has called this the most serious humanitarian crisis in the world since the Second World War. Has Syria become a failed state?
No, as long as the government and the state institutions fulfilling its duty toward the Syrian people, you cannot talk about failed states.
During the Arab Spring in 2010, many African and Middle Eastern countries experienced a revitalization within their own government, some peaceful and some incredibly violent. However, protests in Syria turned into conflict at the capital of Aleppo. The urban conflict then turned into an all-out civil war for the country, slowly crippling the vast infrastructure of Syria. As of October 2015, the civil war has claimed the lives of more than 88,000 civilians and displaced many more. The Syrian civil war has more belligerents than just the Syrian government and Syrian opposition forces. As of now, there are 4 main belligerents operating in Syria: Bashar al-Assad's government forces, the Free Syrian Army, the Islamic State, and Rojavan Kurdish forces. Each force has further subdivisions, all with their own separate interests. Furthermore, some FSA units and Kurdish forces are now being supported by the United States and European countries with weapons and training. At the other end of the spectrum is Bashar al-Assad's forces, which as of 2 months ago have been supported by large numbers of Russian air and ground assets. Largest of all is the presence of ISIS in the Middle East, which has been supported by wealthy donors originating in Kuwait, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. So far, the large but shrinking presence has been stretched into Iraq and Syria.
When you talk about terrorism versus what you represent, you know the accusation that has been made, that you have concentrated your forces in recent years against the non-jihadist parts of the armed resistance.
Although the Syrian war has been going on for quite a long time, there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. As time goes on, more and more nations have become involved in the conflict. The newest nation to be involved in it is China, who has promised to assist Russia with its airstrikes. So how does this conflict apply to us in the United States? There has been approximately 3 million refugees coming from Syria and being distributed within the United States as well as Europe. Where are all of these refugees going right now that are coming from Syria?
Mostly to Southern and Eastern Europe. Okay. As of right now, at least. Of course, they're looking to go to Central Europe and possibly even Scandinavia and Western Europe. Most of them are just seeking opportunities for security and jobs.
What looks like to be the future for, I guess, the Syrian crisis?
Well, it's hard to say. If you were to ask me that before the Paris attacks in November, I would say that the European countries were warming up to the idea of accepting more migrants coming in. It's hard to say what Europe itself will do. Mm-hmm. We're going to see how certain countries like Germany and some of the wealthier countries are going to have to kind of face the burden of helping with this problem. Mm-hmm. And it's going to come down to leadership. If Britain pulls out of the EU, they've got bigger problems in terms of economics than even the migrant crisis. And if countries like Britain and Germany and France and Italy are not willing to take a leadership role in the EU, then I can't see this situation getting much better. It's a long-winded response, but...
Well,